Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Doc, and welcome to another edition of Doc TV. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about 3 albums that came out this past week. Um, Actually, on June 18th, on Tuesday, basically. So, I'm going to talk about Kelly Rowland's "Talk a Good Game," J. Cole's "Born Sinner," and of course, Kanye West's "Yeezus People." But I'm going to talk about those in separate videos. Cause I'm pretty sure I'm going to overlap my time, so I'm going to split these two videos. This is the part one, and then the part two is going to be about the rap section, basically Kanye and J. Cole, because that's what the big story is about this week. But moving on, I'm talking about Kelly Rowland right now. Talk a Good Game, her fourth album. Now I was just thinking about this the other day, and I was like, it's crazy that it's actually been 11 years since Kelly came out with her first solo album, Simply Deep, back in '02. I was like, because I feel old now. Even if you say anything 10 years ago, you really feel old. So I'm only 23, and like I said, I'm a music lover. So I actually still buy physical albums, people, too. Like, the collection is right here. The proof is in the pudding. Like, I actually still buy my physical albums. I actually like to look at the inserts to see who produced what, who wrote what, whose publishing companies, who is so and so, who's creative director, who's the art director, who did photography, who did the graphics, because I love music, and of course, I'm back in the day. I wanted to be a producer and stuff. I wanted, I to still write, um, and I'm a graphic designer. I love art. So all of those things I like to see who did so and so. Still, I even still have cassettes. I like a collection of like 400 CDs, basically. Like I said, so that shows you how serious I am about my music. So support good music. People still support music, still buy albums, even if it's on iTunes. Still buy it, still support it because we need it. Simply D came out '02. She was going through a phase at that time. Years later, I can appreciate a couple of songs off that album, like "Stole," which had a message to it, so I like that song. "Can't Nobody," that Rich Harrison produced. A lot of people probably don't even know about that song because it was a hit. It wasn't a hit single, but it was still good. And then "Train on the Track" was kind of good too. That was released overseas as an international single. Um, but because the Dilemma was number one at that time with Nelly, and it was such a huge hit, Columbia Records and Music World and old crooked ass Matthew Knowles were like, "Kelly, well, we gotta rush you to push this album." So she had to do Simply Deep real fast, and that album was simply a mess. It was, like I said, years later I can appreciate a couple of songs off that album, but I still don't really like the CD. So that's one of the only Kelly albums I don't actually have. I had like a little sampler from it though. I remember that Columbia and Sony was giving out like little samplers of the CD before, so I had like a little sampler of it. And even I lost that. But no disrespect to you, Kelly. I love you, baby. But I couldn't rock with that album. The pop rock edge to it was cool, but it was just it was too much over the place. Miss Kelly came out '07. Even that album, she was still trying to find her way because of the fact that the album before that was supposed to be called My Story, Kelly Rowland, and it was supposed to have like songs like "Gots to Go," and it was supposed to have like and songs like "Flashback," which ended up being on Miss Kelly, and it's supposed to have like this mid-tempo ballad heavy kind of feel to it. And I was like, okay, Kelly, even though you just came out with Destiny Fulfilled with Destiny's Child, which was basically a mid-tempo ballad heavy kind of album, with the exception of "Lose My Breath" and "Soldier," we you know we want to move. We really don't want to hear sadness, basically. So she redrafted that album, had songs like This on the album and Ghetto and stuff. The album was actually hot too. It was good, but it was still she was still trying to find herself. Same with Here I Am, which last came out in 2011, her third album. She was kind of, in my opinion, kind of pressured to rush that album too because Motivation just came out of nowhere and just became a big hit. So she kind of had to push that album out. Um, Even though she was doing too much at that time too. She was before that album was supposed to come out. She was experimenting with the dance music. It was supposed to be like a dance heavy album at first, with songs like "Commander" with David Guetta and "Forever and the Day" and "Rose Colored Glasses," and had this pop edge to it and stuff like that, and the dance edge to it. So a lot of those songs then ended up making the album. So she re-recorded the album, and did more R&B joints on the album. So you can tell she wasn't. She was still trying to figure out her way. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're all always trying to figure out our ways, but still, it was like, okay, Kelly. It was a good album though, but it was cohesive though because especially when you had the last two songs on the album being the really dance heavy songs, it just didn't make sense at all. But now with this album, she definitely found her lane. She definitely found her place, and it even surprised me that to see a Kelly Rowland album with a parental advisory sticker on it, I thought would never see the day. So I was like, Kelly's talking that shit on this album for real. which is good because I could tell she always had that sassiness in her, and especially for someone that wants to show off her new boobies and that want to pose not topless but cover her jigger jaws up real quick and pose on the album cover like this. She was definitely bound to talk that shit for real. So I'm happy that Kelly is finally speaking up on this album. Kelly worked with people like Danger. She worked with Mike Will Made It. She worked with I still call him Rock City, but Planet 4. She worked with Kevin Costner, who in my opinion is like the new Rico Love of this album because Rico Love heavily wrote on the last album, Here I Am, which Rico Love was basically the Sean Garrett of that album because Sean Garrett heavily kind of co-wrote on the Miss Kelly album, and then you had Rico Love, which was heavily involved with the Here I Am album. So now you have Kevin Costner, who's like the new Rico Love on this album. So they make a good team though. So Kevin Costner and Kelly. You have Seven Streeter who co-wrote a couple of songs on this album. I said Harmony Samuels. Who else is on the album? Wiz Khalifa's on the album. Beyonce and Michelle is on the album on You Change, which I think I'm actually the only people that liked Nuclear before when they did the new song from off the Love Songs collection last December. So I was happy to see them come back together and do another song together. Cause it just makes you. They keep teasing us with these Destiny's Child. Well, Kelly says it's not a Destiny's Child song, but still, it just gives you that feeling of Destiny's Child. So it just makes you miss those three together doing something. So at least can we just get another single or EP or something or a Christmas album, something with all of you together, or do something on each other's album to keep us waiting until y'all turn 70 years old and y'all do Vegas shows together. So that's that. And Pusha T's on the album, Dreams on the album. Pharrell did some joints on the album. Boy Wonder did some songs on the album as well. The Runners. It starts off with the song Freak, which I like that song, but I got on Kelly because I was like, Kelly, I know we're not doing recycled Jamie Foxx songs now. Cause that actually was Jamie Foxx's song off of his last album, Best Night of My Life. But I appreciate Kelly's version better because of the fact that Jamie Foxx his version was very auto-tuned to death. So I actually like Kelly's version a lot better. Gone with Wiz Khalifa is a good joint. I can see that being the next single too after Dirty Laundry. I can see pop radio, rhythmic radio playing that song as well. So I need Kelly to, Republic Records to go ahead and release that as the next single ASAP to keep the album going. Dirty Laundry, I remember when I heard. Well, Talk a Good Game is my joint too with Kevin Costner. Down on Love is a good joint too. Dirty Laundry, when that's what the dream that he produced and wrote. That was like, goodness, Kelly's really going there because now a lot of songs make sense. Even some of the videos make sense. Like if y'all look at the rose-colored glasses video, there's a scene in the video where she like throws this glass or she punches this glass, and it kind of goes back to that saying in the song. He was saying the window like it was me until it shattered. Put two and two together, and then songs like Bad Habit and Girl from off the Destiny Fulfilled album with Destiny's Child, it's all tying in together. So I was like, wow, like we didn't know Kelly was going through all of this. And what I take away from the song is, at first I was kind of taken away that okay, was she really jealous of Beyonce post Survivor? I don't look at it as her being jealous of Beyonce success wise in a sense, but I look at it like, okay, Beyonce is living this life now. She started dating Jay-Z and stuff like that. She has number one hits and she's just happy. But Kelly is in this dark place behind the scenes, hiding behind the dark shades, and we're not really knowing what's going on with her. She's like in this dark place with this guy that's abusing her basically, and she's having to put on the smile, put on the front like nothing's wrong. So of course she's going to be kind of distant towards Beyonce. Like she said, she checked out for a minute because the guy was basically telling her that don't nobody love you not but me, especially not B. So it was kind of like it's all making sense now. So it's good to see that they're all friends again. Red Wine is another good joint on the album too. This Is Love, which actually on the Miss Kelly. I also looked at the track list. I was like, Kelly, I know we're not doing recycles of your own songs too. I thought she put This Is Love on her album. I was like, oh my goodness, that was on Miss Kelly. But this is a whole new version of This Is Love, a whole new different kind of situation. So I actually like this song a lot better than the other one. That's just my opinion. And then she has Street Life with Pharrell, that Pusha T is featured on, and I like that song. It's very nostalgic, Neptune's feel to it. Sounds like a 2002 Neptune's joint that could have worked back then, but it can work now too. even if it's not a single, I just would like to see a video for it. It kind of reminds me of something from Simply Deep because of the message in the song. And Pusha T kind of has that clips feel to it too, so it kind of just has this whole nostalgic, old school throwback feel to it that I really like. And then there was the other joint, Stand in Front of Me, that Pharrell did too. I was kind of like, I don't like this song when I first heard the album. But then I kept listening to the album. I was like, you know what? It makes a lot of sense because Kelly, when she was first supposed to do the album, it was supposed to have like the '60s Motown kind of feel to it, and it was like a concept album basically at first. So it makes sense that that song is still, she still has a piece of that album that was supposed to happen on this new album because it makes a lot of sense now. I like it. It has that very old school Pharrell kind of feel to it. So I actually like that song a lot. Um, it has that old Motown feel to it. And I bought the deluxe edition. I got mine from Target, so y'all pick all up from Target too because it has the 3 songs that's on the deluxe edition, but then it has an additional 2 songs. So I'm gonna talk about those songs too. So it has Skywalker with the Dream, which is a little ratchet, of course, because the Dream is Terry is the Hamburglar, so of course it's gonna be ratchet. But it has like a good feel to it, so it's a good joint. Put Your Name on it. Has that classic R&B sound to it because she was supposed to work with Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam on the album too, so it kind of feels like a Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam joint from the '80s and '90s, early '90s. But it just feels good to you those. And her vocals on that song is crazy too. So I actually like that song. Put Your Name on it. And then Number One, which Mike Will made it, did it. And we actually heard that song back in December. That was one of the first songs to really leak from the album. And she at that time, it had the tags in it because it was a leaked song. So to hear it polished up and without the tags and the DJ in the song, it sounds a lot better now. So I actually like that song. Feet to the Fire with Pharrell, another message type of song that Pharrell did, and you can tell Pharrell wrote that one too, just because of the writing styling of it and just the vocal arrangements of the song. It just has that old. I love any. Everybody know I'm a sucker for the Neptunes. Anything that Pharrell and Chad ever did, and even spaced apart from each other, what Pharrell is doing, what Chad is doing separately, I like it all. So I'm always a sucker for their music. So just hearing that old school Neptunes kind of feel to it, just it's just a good look. And then Love Me Till I Die, Boy Wonder did that song. And that song, call me crazy, but I can picture Drake doing that song. It sounds like a Drake record. Cause Boy Wonder did some joints for Drake before, and it just has that Drake feel to it. Like especially when Kelly's singing in the verses, her tone is kind of low. It sounds like I could just picture Drake on it. So I could picture a remix on it, and just y'all gotta listen to it. Just hear the way Kelly sing that verse in the song. I can hear Drake all up and through that. So I don't want to be the only crazy one that can hear it. So that got to be. I can see that as a single if Drake is having on a remix, or just as a song, just in general. I am going to say though, I'm still mad at Kelly for paying Ice Dust though with Lil Wayne. That was my joint. I actually like that song. She even shot the video. The video was hot too. I'm still mad she paid that song Dust though, but it is what it is. But that's Kelly's talk a good game. Now Kelly, I'm gonna need you to promote this album like crazy. Now look the numbers that's gonna be coming back next week, debut week. It's good, but not good. But Kelly, when X Factor come on this fall, I'm going to need you to promote the hell out of that CD. Usher doing songs on The Voice that we don't even care about from a CD that we don't even care about anymore. Have a fan on the show, a church fan that says talk a good game and promote it, Kelly. Perform songs off the album, do what you got to do, but promote it. Get them holiday sales. You're gonna need it. But I love you though, Kelly. But this album, definitely y'all pick it up. Kelly has definitely found her way. She's definitely found her lane. She's definitely found her niche, and I'm happy about this album, people. So y'all definitely go check it out too. So look out for the next video now, where I'm going to be talking about J. Cole and Kanye West's new albums. So y'all keep it here. Peace.